The Whispering Walls, Part 1. A new home. The Brown family always dreamed of living in the countryside, far from the noisy city. When they found an old house for sale, it seemed perfect. The house was large, with tall windows, wooden floors, and a garden full of wildflowers. It even had a small pond where Emma, the eldest daughter, imagined sitting and reading a book. When they arrived, the house felt different. The air was cold, even though the summer sun was shining brightly. As they unloaded their belongings, Mrs. Brown paused and said, "Do you feel it? It's like the walls are alive." Mr. Brown laughed and said, "You're imagining things. It's just an old house getting used to us. You'll feel at home soon." That night, Emma and her younger brother Jack explored their new rooms. Emma's room had an old wooden wardrobe and a window overlooking the garden. Jack's room was smaller, but he loved the large carved bed. As Emma lay in bed, she heard a strange sound, a faint whisper. She sat up and looked around. "Jack? Is that you?" she called softly. But Jack was asleep in his room. The whisper continued, soft and eerie, as if the walls themselves were speaking. The next morning, Emma told Jack about the sound. "I heard footsteps in the hallway," Jack said, his eyes wide. "I thought it was Mom, but no one was there." The siblings decided not to tell their parents. "They'll just say it's the wind," Emma said. But deep down, they knew something was not right. Part 2. Strange Sounds. Days passed and the family settled into their new home. Mr. Brown worked in the garden, planting vegetables. Mrs. Brown painted the kitchen to make it brighter. Emma and Jack spent their afternoons exploring the fields and woods nearby. But the strange sounds didn't stop. At night, Emma heard soft tapping on her window. When she looked outside, no one was there. Jack complained of whispers in his room, so faint he couldn't make out the words. One evening, while Jack was playing in the garden, he tripped over something hard. He dug into the dirt and found a small, rusty key. "Emma, look at this," he shouted. Emma examined the key. "It looks very old. Do you think it opens something in the house?" The siblings decided to search. They tried the key on every door in the house, but nothing worked. Frustrated, they were about to give up when Jack noticed something strange in the basement. "Emma, look! There's a small door in the wall." The door was hidden behind some old boxes. It was tiny and had a rusty lock. Emma's hands trembled as she put the key in the lock. It turned easily. Part 3. The Hidden Room. The door creaked open, revealing a narrow staircase leading into darkness. A cold breeze made Emma and Jack shiver. "Should we go down?" Jack whispered. Emma nodded, holding a flashlight she had brought just in case. The wooden stairs groaned under their weight as they descended. At the bottom, they found a small, hidden room. The room was covered in dust and cobwebs. Strange symbols were carved into the walls, and old books were stacked on a wooden table. In the center of the room was a large, locked chest. "What is this place?" Jack asked in a hushed voice. "I think it's some kind of secret room," Emma said. She wiped the dust off the chest and noticed initials carved into the wood. E.W. "Who is E.W.?" Jack asked. Emma shrugged. "Maybe the chest will tell us." But the chest was locked tight, and their key didn't fit. Part 4. The Old Diary. Determined to solve the mystery, Emma and Jack searched the room for clues. Jack found a loose brick in the wall. Behind it was a small, leather-bound diary. The diary belonged to a woman named Eleanor White, who had lived in the house over 100 years ago. The children turned the fragile pages and read Eleanor's words. Eleanor wrote about hearing whispers in the house. She described seeing shadows that moved on their own and feeling a cold hand on her shoulder when no one was there. "The house is alive," she wrote. "It whispers about something lost, something precious." "What do you think she lost?" Jack asked. Emma pointed to a drawing in the diary. It showed a locket with a family picture inside. "I think it's this. We need to find it," she said. Part 5. A ghostly encounter. That night, the whispers grew louder. Emma and Jack could now clearly hear them calling their names. "Come to the basement," the voices seemed to say. Gathering their courage, the siblings returned to the secret room. This time they were not alone. Before them appeared a glowing, pale figure, a woman in a long dress with sad eyes. "Who are you?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. "I am Eleanor," the ghost replied. "I cannot rest until I find what I lost. Please help me." "What did you lose?" Jack asked. "My locket," Eleanor said. "It holds a picture of my family. It is hidden in this house. Please, you must find it." Part 6. Solving the Mystery. The next morning, Emma and Jack began their search. They checked every room in the house, looking for places the locket might be hidden. Finally, they found it in the attic, buried under a pile of old newspapers. It was a small golden locket with a picture of a man, a woman, and a little girl inside. That night they returned to the basement and showed the locket to Eleanor. Her ghostly face lit up with joy. "Thank you," she said. "Now I can rest." As Eleanor faded away, the whispers stopped. For the first time, the family felt warmth and peace in their home. The Browns lived happily in their house from then on, and Emma and Jack often told their friends about their adventure.